Hello and a big welcome to the Canine Psychology Show with Dara Burke. I'm a canine psychologist working towards my ultimate goal of finding out how a dog's mind works, what makes him tick, and exactly what it is that drives a dog to be man's best friend. Now, you may recognize me as the producer and host of the Big Bark podcast, which I regularly bring you on via social media, via Facebook, via YouTube. And in that show, I bring you the latest news and interviews from the canine world, discussing awesome canine topics with my various guests. We had one just yesterday where we had Edwin Sweeney from Hot Dog Was Official, we had Martina from Harry's Dog Bakery, and we had Emma, who is the owner of Polo Limit Note 2019, and Emma also is the curator of Happiness Rides Its Tail. Now, they were all on in the Big Bark yesterday afternoon. Now, this show is actually, it's fair to say, will be a lot different than the Big Bark. So rather than focusing on all aspects of the canine world, we're focusing on the areas of training, behaviour and canine psychology, which is where my passion lies. So today's show is really just going to be a brief introduction of the areas of canine psychology, and I'm going to give you a brief outline of what I mean by canine psychology. So throughout the series we'll be chatting with some pet professionals and some of the top professionals in the canine behaviour, training and psychology fields. They'll be sharing some of their in-depth knowledge, and they'll be examining together with them, I'll be examining the latest research which tells us why the human canine bond is so strong. And it's fair to say that it is probably, out of any animal that's considered a domestic pet, the bond between man and dog is just so strong compared to, I suppose, the bond that is essentially there between man and putty cats, or in general any other animals. So we're going to look at why dogs behave the way they do. We're going to look at what goes on inside their mind to make them tick, from their cuteness and affection all the way to why dogs get aggressive and protective. We'll be looking throughout the series at just how and when dogs use their powerful senses, how to communicate with not just humans but with other dogs also, and how their communication methods that they use are a heck of a lot different to what we use. We use speech, and generally speaking we use for people in English speaking regions, we speak in English, and it varies obviously as per where you go. So French people would speak French, Germans speak German, and so on. But these are the languages that we use to communicate with one another as humans. Now, we'll be going over later on the show. We'll actually be looking at some of the communication techniques that dogs use to each other and to humans, which surprisingly enough is not isolated just barking or crying or making other cute doggy noises that they do make. And we'll be looking more at the body language that dogs use to communicate with humans, even though humans don't actually often understand that language. So let's start off by looking at a brief overview of what canine psychology actually is and what the meaning of canine psychology is. So I suppose the main goal of canine dog psychology is to view the dog in its natural habitat in order to observe its behaviour on an evolutionary scale. So you look at evolution and you look at where dogs have actually come from, and you'll find that 97 to 98% of a dog's DNA has proven to be wolf. Obviously, this is how close our favourite companions are to their ancient ancestors, and it is known that wolves were in fact the first wild animals believed to be domesticated, and it's estimated the first species of dog came into existence roughly around 12,000 years ago. But here's a fun fact for you. The oldest intact fossilized remains of a pet canine dates all the way back to 33,000 years ago. It was discovered in Siberia back in the 1970s, so we do know that while the belief is there that dogs were first domesticated 12,000 years ago, it's actually been shown to be the case that this actually could go back further to 33,000 years ago. So the three areas then of huge importance to canine psychologists are instinct, so a dog's reaction in an environment which they cannot control; learning, how a dog learns and adapts from the situation it finds itself in, as well as adapting to new environments. And we're going to go into that, into the learning in detail in a later episode, as we will with instinct. And the third area that is of huge importance for canine psychologists in order to understand dogs and how their minds work is teaching. So teaching occurs through training of a dog by humans or in fact by other dogs. Now do remember that dogs have trained their counterparts for far longer than humans have been trained dogs. So go back as far again as your ancestors to the wolves. Wolves have been training other wolves to hunt and to catch prey. Same way right across the animal kingdom, all animals train each other, their own species, to hunt and to train and to feed and whatever else. So again, teaching is something we'll be discussing in a future episode when we discuss training methods. Now, other areas that canine psychology focuses on is the different personalities of dog breeds. We all know the saying that a small dog has a big attitude. Well, that is very true. And you do see this in certain breeds, such as your little miniature chihuahuas, your Yorkshire Terriers. To anyone who has those breeds, I'm not trying to offend people by saying their dogs are aggressive. Any dog can be aggressive, it all depends on how a dog is trained. But smaller dogs are known to have a bigger attitude. So throughout the series we're going to give an understanding of why this is. Why the gentle giant is a Bernese mountain dog has a far calmer personality than say that of, once again, using just as an example, a Yorkshire Terrier, who do tend to have the big bark. Now what makes some dogs then, like a Labrador, turn into a lovable rogue who wants nothing more than to curl up next to you on the sofa, we'll be looking at that, and why other dogs like boxers are far more goofy and full of life. So these are questions that we'll be answering throughout our series. We're going to look at some dogs and at why some dogs are more fearful, reactive and aggressive, whereas others are more sociable and playful, and what drives a dog to want to socialize. In canine psychology, we look in depth at dogs' understanding of the human vocabulary. Now, on average, a dog will understand anywhere between 140 to 160 human words. This has scientifically been proven that this is the average number of words that dogs understand. Now, some breeds, such as the intelligent border collie, on the other hand, can have a greater capacity and a much larger vocabulary of over 2,000 words. This has once again been scientifically proven. And a very important part in that essence of canine psychology then is to understand why some breeds are far more intuitive and intelligent than others, and what makes these breeds to be better working breeds as well as better show dogs in major competitions such as crufts, particularly in the likes of the agility competitions, the powerball competitions. You will see time and time again that certain breeds like border collies are quite often used for those competitions. But it is also important to note that while a dog understands a number of human words, how do we as humans understand the dog's communication methods? Now, since this is a live stream, I will give you the opportunity to any of our listeners to ask questions, and I will hopefully give you the answers as best I can. Remember, I am still on my own learning curve here, and let me just make sure that I can actually see the comments as they're coming in here. Streaming stuff is still kind of new to me, so let's have a look there and get right. I have a live stream up there. And okay, so like I said, if you have any questions on such as why I decided to go into the world of canine psychology, feel free to ask. And if you have any other questions such as what's involved or anything along those lines, feel free to ask. But for now, let's focus on canine communication, and particularly let's focus on what we as humans understand by that. Now, the way that dogs communicate is a lot different to how we as humans communicate. As I said earlier, we use English, we use speech to communicate with one another. We use written techniques such as text messaging, social media, and in this case here, the way I'm communicating with you via a live stream video, so such as the likes of Skype, the likes of Zoom, once again using English and using speech there to communicate with one another. I will just apologize if you are seeing subtitles on the video there on Facebook. For some reason it seems to be adding them, and I'm not sure why, but it doesn't do a great job of translating because I'm Irish and Facebook doesn't understand my accent. Just a side note on that side, so I want to get back to this now. And okay, what I'm wondering is who can safely say that as humans we understand what a dog is trying to tell us. Now, many people will believe that dogs communicate with us via barking, by crying at you when they're hungry, or by crying at you and making noise when they want to go out and do their business. Now, this is true. Dogs do use barking as one communication method, but it's actually not their main communication method. Their main communication method is actually body language, and in fact non-verbal body language, and they use this to communicate with not just humans but with other dogs also. So different postures, which I'm going to go over here shortly, and that doesn't happen too often, something in my order. But I'm going to run through how a dog uses body language to communicate with humans and dogs, and what you as a human can do to understand that body language and how to recognize what a dog is trying to tell you. So let's start off by taking a look at these right now, and these are known as calming signals. So The first ones are the, I suppose, the non-threatening calming signals. So if you look at these, the first lot there up here at the top of the screen, and you have the relaxed down method where a dog is simply lying down, tail to the left at the back of his legs, front paws adjacent to front paws directly, I suppose how to put it, like in line with one another, and the dog with a calm, relaxed look on his face. This is, again, like I said, known as the relaxed position. The dog is feeling calm and does not feel any sense of threat. Now, a dog will use these various signals to communicate with both humans and dogs, as I said. So again, the second one there, the dog is also relaxed, tail drop down, and tail outwards drop down, not between its leg. The ears are perked, but the hair on its back is also down. You can see with the dog's face in this one, the dog looks composed. And again, watch the position of the feet here. They are straight, and the dog as itself, as I said, looks relaxed. Now, the next one is submissive. So the dog is rolling over, the dog is happy. The dog is telling another dog here, or a human, I'm not a threat. It's a playful position that you will often see dogs use in their own home. When a dog rolls over, you might think it's looking for a belly scratch, but it's actually also telling you that it's not a threat, and it's submitting to you for attention. It's submitting to not just you, but other dogs. When you see a dog using the signal towards other dogs, it's submitting for attention and for play to that other dog. It's letting the other dog know, I'm fine, I'm not going to harm you. Now the next one you will notice, the ears perked, the tongue in general loose, the tongue hanging out, and the dog's tail wagging upwards slightly. It's not straight up, but it is at roughly a 45-degree angle. So the dog here is happy, and you will often see this. I'm going to post a few videos on caninesepsychology.ie after this, just to let people know exactly some examples of this. And the final one in this case here is ready to play. So the dog is in what we call the bow position. So the bow position is one that, if you, for example, are out and about with your dog, you have a ball for them, and your dog is in this bow position, the dog is ready to play with you. The dog wants to play and is ready to go, and well, he will use this with other dogs as well. If you are out and about and you meet another dog, you will see that by this position, the dog is ready to play with that other dog. Now, the next ones, which are known as the submissive and anxious set of calming signals, these five are generally when the dog is anxious or is feeling like they want to be left alone. Now the first one is submissive. If you see that what looks like the guilty look that is on a dog's face, we often misinterpret this as a dog being guilty, and you look at a dog and you think, what have you done? But the dog is actually submitting to you here. The dog knows it has done wrong, and the dog is, as I said, is submitting to you. Now when you say dog lying down, and one to pay particular attention to here is the dog's tongue. The dog will be licking its nose, and it will be looking away from you, the head down, and the dog does not want you to be near it. It will give you these signals, and at that point, when a dog is giving you the please leave me alone look, it is advisable for your safety and for the dog's to walk away. Give the dog a space. We all need space at times. Dogs need the same space as well. You can tell when a dog is stressed by the position of its back and its tail in this case. The tail is low down, not fully going in between its legs, but it is low down and its back is humped. You can tell that the dog is anxious or stressed because it's also panting. Panting is something that a dog uses to let people know that it's stressed and to let other dogs know they're stressed. So you will notice when a dog is terrified. Its tail is in between its back legs. It is shaking. Again, the back is hunched. The dog is telling you it's scared. It does not want to engage. So the final one here, you would see the dog growling, and again the tail is low down. Look at the body posture on this here, and the dog is fearful, but the dog is ready to defend and ready to fight if it needs to defend itself. So the next set is more where the dog is offensive and alert. Just take a quick look through these. You would see the various different statures and the various different points that the dog looks like here. So you would see how the dog goes from alert to being wary to suspicious. Watch the different body postures here and watch the different way that a dog is standing. Watch how it's stalking. It's been in the stalking position. It's approaching another dog with caution. If a dog is defensive, obviously the right move to do there would be walk away, because the last thing you want is when a dog is angry and ready to fight, because this is when they enter aggressive territory. Full sure I had a one on tails there as well, which is, just give me 1 second there. I had a one on tails as well. Thought I had that. Let's see. That exists then, did I? Okay. Oh, tails. Now this is going to probably change a small bit. It's going to take a minute. I do apologize. I did think that I actually had this ready to go there. Not sure what's after happening, but let's see if I can remove this here. Yeah. Okay. Now. Alright, I'm going to just adjust the screen a small bit here, pop me up out of the way here, and pop my logo up here too. Alright, and let me just get that here. Okay, so once again, let's have a quick look here. Yeah, sorry about that. Not sure why exactly that happened there, but you know, sometimes these things do happen. So again, what we're looking at here is the various tail positions, and when the tail is high, this is again how you can tell how your dog is communicating with you and the various signals that your dog is giving. So when the tail is high, the dog is alert and excited. When the tail is out, the dog is exploring, is neutral. When the tail is down, the dog is submissive, the dog is concerned, and this is also a sign that the dog may be stressed as well. So when the dog's tail is down and wagging left, the dog is concerned or is nervous, unpleasant about a person or animal that's approaching. When the dog's tail is up and moving fast, the dog is excited, and this is a good time to approach the dog. If you see the dog's tail moving fast, the dog is excited, and the dog wants to most likely say hello and interact with another dog or with a person. Broad strokes of the tail indicate that the dog is happier and that the dog is again ready to interact. When the dog's tail is wagging right and is outwards, the dog is pleasant about a person or about another animal, so again a sign that you can approach. When the tail is moving slowly, on the other hand, the dog is less enthusiastic. And finally, when the tail is in short strokes and is more, not fully down, but is more downward direction, the dog is anxious, the dog is uptight, and generally in that case, it's probably best to leave the dog alone for your safety and for theirs, and also so that you don't add to a stressful situation that the dog has already endured. Now, there are plenty of different books, plenty of documentation out there on canine psychology, and in particular on canine body language. So one of the best books that I would recommend myself would be On Talking Terms with Dogs, and that is written by Tuard Rugas, and it explains in detail, it's an illustrated guide also, it explains in detail the various calming signals that a dog gives off. And there's a lot more than just the ones I mentioned there. Tuard Rugas is a Norwegian dog trainer, and during his time as a dog trainer has taught the world that humans can not only learn to read canine body language, but use their own body language also to communicate with dogs. So these signals that you see here, you can actually adapt these to communicate back with your dog so that they understand you in a language that is native to them. On Talking Terms with Dogs is actually one of the most influential books for me as a canine psychology specialist, and as a great guide to other canine psychologists throughout the world. Well, we're going to kind of wrap up with this for today. I suppose while I still have a long way to go on becoming an expert in my field, I will be recruiting experts. I will be having experts chat with us on the show to go on this journey with me and to share their own knowledge also. I'll be releasing details in the coming episodes in the next few days, along with details on my special guests as the series progresses. If you would like to leave some feedback on this, do so underneath the Facebook stream or underneath the YouTube stream over on the Big Back YouTube channel where this is currently streaming, and you'll find that on just by searching on YouTube and type in the Big Back Podcast. You'll find the channel there. You'll find all details of it on the Back and Mad website, and our new website to correspond with this show, caninepsychology.ie, will be launching in the coming weeks, so I'll have more details on that on our Facebook page, which the stream is on now. And that's all for this episode, so we'll be back next week with a new episode and with a special guest on the Canine Psychology Show. I'd like to thank everyone for watching and for joining, and I wish you all a pleasant and safe week with your wonderful doggies.